It's a beautiful day for baseball. And live from the Great American Ballpark, Sportsnet LA presents the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Cincinnati Reds in Game 2 of this 3-game series. Hi again, everybody. Charlie Steiner, Oral Hershiser, Joe Davis on assignment. He'll be back with us tomorrow. So the Dodgers sitting pretty, just a game behind first place Colorado. The pitching continues to be the best in the league. And Alex Wood right now may be the best pitcher in the league. Went 8 innings last night, now 7-0, 10 starts without a loss, the most since you back in 1985. And he said something interesting after the game last night, and this is what I'm curious about. He said right now he's got the best stuff he has ever had. What was it like for you in 85?
You know, when you're in the zone, Charlie, like Alex Wood is right now, you have everything working. You know what? It's a combination of things other than just stuff. It's the health. It's the mechanics. It's having the confidence that you can repeat it. Alex Wood has really turned himself into the number 2 starter on this team behind Clayton Kershaw, and that depth becomes quality on this team, and that is important.
A look ahead to this afternoon's pitching matchup. Hyun-Jin Ryu going for the Dodgers against Asher Wojciechowski.
Two guys that are both responding to tough outings against the same teams, but they didn't pitch on the same days. One on Saturday, one on Sunday, but both have to avoid the home run ball. The wind's blowing out here today. It's going to be a very offensive game if these guys are not on their games.
Day game after night game, manager Dave Roberts has done some lineup tweaking. Alana.
Well, Charlie, despite reaching base 4 of 5 times last night, Justin Turner is not in the lineup today against Asher Wojciechowski. Instead, it's going to be Logan Forsythe at third base, who has struggled a little bit at the plate. He was doing some early work yesterday with Turner Ward, and Dave Roberts basically trying to sync things back up, get his timing back down. He said there's just a couple of things that seem a bit off with his swing. He does feel that the quality of at-bats have been there, but the contact has not.
We're going to take a break, and when we come back, the lineups and first pitch. Game 2 of this 3-game series, the Dodgers and Reds from Cincinnati. Back at the Great American Ballpark, where the Reds are just now taking the field. A little bit of a delay to the first pitch, and perfectly good reason for that on this hot and humid Saturday afternoon. 91 degrees, the wind is blowing out. Weather-wise, it looks like we're going to see some home runs today. It was Pete Rose who did not make a career out of the home runs. He just got on base more than anybody else, and today he was celebrated here in Cincinnati. The unveiling of the statue. Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, all the great Reds here in his honor, and a beautiful statue indeed.
Charlie Hustle depicted as he is hustling, and the number 14 will be everywhere today, and Pete Rose will be here. I know he's going to visit the Reds broadcast booth in the 5th inning, but all of his compadres are here, and you will see 14 out there right behind second base on his day.
So the Reds are on the field. It's time for us to give you the Dodger starting lineup, brought to you by Honda, with Chase Utley leading it off and Corey Seager at short. Chris Taylor hitting third in left field. Bellinger at first. Peters had a big night last night hitting 5th. Grandal behind the plate. Forsythe at third base. Puig in right. You may notice that Justin Turner has the day off. Day game after night game. Hyun-Jin Ryu pitching and batting 9th against 26-year-old right-hander Asher Wojciechowski.
Dodgers saw him in LA and knocked him around, and they want to do it again here, and they'll be looking to elevate the ball. This offensive ballpark is going to really reward fly balls, and I mean just routine fly balls today should leave in left field or even left center. So it'll be a tough day to pitch. You better keep the ball down.
In the National League, they're averaging about 3 home runs per game here at the Great American Ballpark. That's third in the major leagues. Only Target Field and Yankee Stadium have produced more home runs than this place. And Hyun-Jin Ryu, who has surrendered 12 home runs in 57 innings. The weather being what it is, hot, humid, and the wind blowing out toward left, we may see a long ball parade today. So it's going to be Utley, Seager, and Taylor as we begin. Chase at 234 with 4 home runs and 19 runs batted in, and he has been plunked a time or two. So here comes the first pitch. We're only about 2.5 minutes behind schedule. All in all, not bad. Call strike, 0-1 to Utley. Dodgers begin the day having won 7 of their last 8, 9 of their last 14. And at 42-26, a game behind Colorado. One ball and 1 strike. Well, the race in the West. You got the Rockies at 44-26. Arizona and the Dodgers 42-26. You know, the Washington Nationals would be in 4th place if they were in the National League West. Now Utley swings and misses. And is 1-2.
The Dodger opponent today, the Cincinnati Reds, trying to avoid their 8th straight loss. Only 2 teams have done that this year. The Phillies have lost 8 in a row, and the Royals lost 9.
Utley awaits the 1-2. And he pops it foul. And out of play. Mesoraco wasn't quite sure where it was going.
Puffy white clouds, blue sky, and a lot of glare. He's going to need some help.
And a sold-out house here at the Great American Ballpark, which opened for business in 2003. And before that, Riverfront Stadium, and before that, Crosley Field. The Reds, the first National League team. And for so many years, this is where opening day took place. Here's the 1-2. Utley went around. So he's done, and we're underway.
Reds looking for some good starting pitching during this losing streak. Their ERA for their whole team is 6.55, so tough to win if you don't get off to a good start.
And on the year, their ERA at 5.92, dead last in the National League by a wide margin. Corey Seager takes a strike and is 0-1. Seager at 280. 9 home runs, 31 runs batted in. And the 0-1 Drill to right. That's a fair ball. Rolling to the wall. Seager on his way to second base with his 18th double of the year.
I know on the last homestand he had a walk-off hit, he had a grand slam, but this was a really pretty swing. He just crushed that ball right in rhythm. He is starting to get hot.
Well, his family drove up about 7.5 hours from North Carolina to watch young Corey play, and they're going to be out on the West Coast when the Dodgers face the Angels next. Of course, they've got loyalties to his older brother too, Kyle Seager. Now Chris Taylor coming up, and he drills it foul up the third base line. So Taylor's hitting third this afternoon. Bellinger on deck. Turner the afternoon off. Taylor 8 home runs and 29 runs batted in. 12 for 47 with runners in scoring position. No balls, 2 strikes. Taylor batting third for the 6th time this year as Seager leads from second. Just underway. A healthy wind blowing from right field toward left. The 0-2 to Taylor. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Do you really think that the Dodgers would have one of the best records in baseball and have Chris Taylor hitting third and Cody Bellinger hitting fourth at the beginning of the year?
Well, neither were here at the beginning of the year.
That's right.
The 1-2. Taylor down on strikes. Second strikeout for Wojciechowski.
Wojciechowski still looking for his first W in the big leagues as a starter. This is his 7th start as a big leaguer. 0-1 with a very high ERA as a starter, over 7.
And opponents hitting .351 against him. So now here's Bellinger. Back in spring training, they figured Bellinger, all went according to plan, would spend most of the year at Oklahoma City, perfecting his skills. And Taylor began the year, of course. Drilled to right field, and there goes home run number 19. No, it's off the wall, but in to score is Seager. Bellinger didn't miss that one by much.
He crushed this ball, Charlie. I know why you were going into the home run call, but that breeze coming from right field across the field out to left is this strong. The wind's got to be blowing almost 20 miles an hour across the diamond. He kills this ball. He stays in the batter's box and watches it, but it just comes up short. Probably hit some 380 feet, but knocked down to about 320 because of the wind.
But an RBI for Bellinger, his 41st. Bellinger thought he had it too, but the Dodgers take the 1-0 lead as Peterson comes up. Bellinger crushed that line drive home run in Cleveland the other day. This one he got under it. And Peterson takes going outside, 1 ball, no strikes. Peterson, a home run and a double last night, plus he walked.
Well, that fly ball by Bellinger that turned into a double should give Yasmani Grandal and Ryu some information on where they want to try and get the ball hit.
Bellinger leading from second.
That wind right there reminded me of old Candlestick Park, where you completely didn't matter if you were pitching to a hitter's strength. You automatically wanted him to hit the ball to right field because a cannon couldn't hit it out to right. But on those nights, a pop-up would go out to left.
Jock Peterson at 210. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 out, 1-0 Dodgers in the first.
That's it.
And it's 2-1.
The way our field mics are positioned, you get to hear Dave Roberts in the background cheering on the hitters. especially guys he knows that are working on stuff. Plate discipline right there, cheering Jock on a take.
They average about 10.5 runs per game here at the Great American Ballpark. Two teams combined over the course of the year, as Peterson fouls it back.
The Dodgers are getting a reputation around the league for having big, powerful swings. We hear from broadcasters in the hall or when we visit them in the other booths that, boy, you've got some hard swingers. You look at Taylor, the way he unleashes it, Bellinger, Jock Peterson, Yasiel Puig.
They're not shy.
They aren't. And they don't go into a shell with 2 strikes either.
Bellinger leading from second. 2-2 with 2 out. And a little chopper foul.
Cody having a laugh with Chris Woodward about Woody probably giving him a hard time, like you don't have enough power to hit it out. Laughing about that wind knocking that ball down.
It was crushed. He had to settle for a double. For Bellinger, this is his 49th game. He now has 41 runs batted in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out. Dodgers with the early lead. And Peterson went around. Wojciechowski strikes out the side, but he gives up a couple of doubles. And the Dodgers take an early 1-0 lead for Hyun-Jin Ryu. And when they score first this year, the Dodgers are 29-7. Here's a lineup brought to you by Honda, put together by Brian Price, beginning with Billy Hamilton, Zach Cozart, and Joey Votto. Adam Duvall, Eugenio Suarez, and Scott Schebler. The bottom third, Jose Peraza, Devin Mesoraco, and Asher Wojciechowski. You've got Hyun-Jin Ryu making his 12th appearance and his 11th start.
3 appearances ago was put into the bullpen, got a 4-inning save, and started to throw the ball really well. But in between this start and then, he's kind of been up and down. Had one really good start against Washington, 4 earned runs over 7, but he was just nicked up in that game. His last start against the Reds was a little bumpy road, and you don't want to have a bumpy road in this ballpark the way the ball is carrying. That was at Dodger Stadium. Now you're in the Great American Ballpark that is very friendly to the bats.
Billy Hamilton has really been struggling. In fact, the top 2 hitters in the Reds lineup, Hamilton and Cozart, have gone a combined 5 for 57, including 1 for 8 last night. So Ryu trying to turn things around in his last start, as Oral was mentioning. On Sunday, 4 runs, 6 hits in 4 innings. As Hamilton takes a strike, and it's 1-1. So Billy at 238 and an on-base percentage of only 290. But he leads Major League Baseball with 28 stolen bases, nearly half the team's total. 1-2. The Reds with 60 stolen bases. Hamilton has 28, and Peraza, who's hitting 7th, has 14. The 1-2.
Ryu has struggled with the home run ball this year, and that doesn't matter what ballpark he's in, so it's about location for him today, keeping the ball down, getting the ball hit on the ground, pitching to a little more contact now that he's back and healthy than in his prime when he was here earlier with the Dodgers.
Just low, and Ryu thought he had strike 3 instead of ball 3.
Stuff is the same for Ryu. It's just the location and the mistakes are creeping up a little bit more often. High sliders, high changeups, high fastballs.
In the right center for a base hit. Well, you have one of the fastest runners in the game against Puig with one of the strongest throwing arms in the game.
A graphic that supports Ryu and how he has changed in the home runs allowed category, and that's just mistakes because the velocity is pretty much back up where it belongs. 92 to 94. Intensity and sharpness on the breaking stuff and changeups has been good. It's just too many mistakes up in the strike zone that have hurt him.
Brings up Zach Cozart. Hamilton was 1 for 4 last night. Cozart 0 for 4. And Zach has been struggling over the past week. Cozart was at 342 last Saturday. And he's down to 318 a week later. Votto on deck. Yasmani Grandal's throwing arm certainly going to be tested this afternoon when Hamilton gets aboard. Grandal has thrown out 13 out of 31. 34%. 1 ball, 1 strike to Zach Cozart.
Ryu is not giving Hamilton a chance to get a jump. He's using a very quick slide step to get home. When he decides to go home, he's doing it in a very quick manner.
Hamilton has stolen 28 of 33 this year. Drilled to left. Hamilton on his way to third. Bobbled out there by Taylor. Now Hamilton's going to come home. And just like that, the Reds have tied the score.
Yeah, it's a nice base hit right here, but then the base running starts, and Hamilton's going to get to third easy with his speed, but he sees the bobble. Now he's stationed at third base. Taylor trying to keep the double play in order, and when Hamilton saw the ball go towards second base, he immediately broke for home.
And there was nobody there at second base. A hit, an error, and no RBI.
They gave Cozart a double, but the error was on allowing Hamilton to score from third after he was stationed there.
Well, we're tied at 1, and here is Votto. Tied for the National League in home runs. And he takes down and away 1 ball, no strikes. Votto first in the league in home runs, the 51 RBIs, 6th highest in the league. And he couldn't care less if it's a righty or a left-handed pitcher. But last night, how about that at bat with Kenley Jansen?
When you can embarrass Joey Votto at the plate, you know how good somebody's stuff was, and that somebody was Kenley Jansen.
Jansen last night struck out the side, so what else is new? 14 pitches, 13 strikes, and he got Votto. Two and one with Duvall on deck. So Ryu struggling here in the first. Bellinger's RBI double gave the Dodgers the early lead. Look at that breaking ball.
How can you argue, Joey? You weren't looking at the ball. You were ducking out of the way. And there it is. Strike. Howdy Pitchcast has it.
Two and two. Outside, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Votto choked up on the bat more than anybody in the game these days. And it does nothing to diminish his power.
Nothing at all. It reminds me a little bit of when Barry Bonds was so locked in. Barely get one pitch in at bat to hit. Slightly choked up all the time. Very compact swing.
But Ryu gets the best of him. A much needed strikeout, first out of the inning.
You don't see that very often from Votto. He's usually got a great eye, doesn't swing at balls out of the zone. When they're in the zone, he hits them hard, but boy, he had trouble seeing the ball that at bat.
So he took a strike and swung at a ball. Adam Duvall coming up. Duvall with 15 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Dodgers and Reds are tied at 1. Ball's going to travel today.
Especially to the left side of second base.
Rain is coming in. They're expecting a lot of rain tomorrow. And they'll do everything they can to get the game in. This is the only visit of the year to Cincinnati. It's traveling.
It wasn't fair, but it was in the upper deck. The second deck.
The Reds as a team have hit 95 home runs this year. They're 4th in the National League. And Ryu has surrendered 12 home runs in 57 innings. 0-2. Into center. And there's Peterson. Second out of the first.
Jock probably has the biggest equation out there with Hamilton in center, because the ball hit to his left is probably going to get knocked down a little bit and blown to him, and he and Yasiel talking about it. The ball hit the left center. He's going to need to get on his horse because it's going to take a ride on the wind. They might talk about that with George Lombard too on positioning, because balls are going to be going away from Yasiel and towards Jock, and away from Jock and towards Chris Taylor in left.
So the elements very much a part of this game on this late Saturday afternoon in Cincinnati. Eugenio Suarez coming up. He's got 10 home runs, 36 runs batted in. The state of Ohio has 2 third basemen who fly under the radar screen. Jose Ramirez with the Indians, an outstanding series, and they love him up there. And Suarez at 282, hitting 5th for Cincinnati. He's going to be their third baseman for years to come. the Ohio Players. One ball and one strike. Eugenio Suarez. Cozart, who doubled home Billy Hamilton, is at second base. We're still in the bottom of the first.
We're at 21 pitches too. If the ballpark is playing hard on the pitchers and they don't have stuff to put hitters away, they're going to be going through an awful lot of pitchers today because of pitch counts.
Eugenio Suarez came over from the Tigers in the winter of 2014 for Alfredo Simon, right-handed pitcher. Suarez just 25. Gets a piece of it and stays alive. Since 2015, the Dodgers are 15-3 against Cincinnati as Grandal makes the block. Dodgers have won all 4 of the meetings so far this season. 5 of 7 last year, 6 out of 7 in 2015. On 2-2. Inside and low, Grandal keeps it in front of him. And keeps Cozart at second.
You can see that Ryu is trying to keep the ball down so the ball doesn't get hit in the air from these right-handed hitters. A couple balls in the dirt right there back to back with Yasmani blocking them.
It's been a struggle for Ryu here in the first. On 3-2. Call strike 3. And he gets out of it. Suarez not happy. Reds come up with a run. We're even as we head to the second. Second, it'll be Yasmani Grandal, Logan Forsythe, and Yasiel Puig. Sold out house on a day in which Pete Rose was honored, and outside the Great American Ballpark, a beautiful statue of Charlie Hustle appropriately sliding in head first. Grandal has struggled so far this month at .259 overall, 6 home runs, 26 runs batted in. And it's 0-1. One ball, one strike to Grandal. Asher Wojciechowski, his 6th appearance, his 4th start. Grandal takes low and away. Wojciechowski spent many years as a child growing up in Romania. And played a lot of Little League ball over there. Now the 2-2. Grandal down on strikes. All 4 outs that Wojciechowski has recorded have been by way of the strikeout.
His parents were over there on missionary work, and he, Little League, had reached Eastern Europe. So he got a chance to play at some of the orphanages. And then he continued now as an adult to do missionary work down in the Dominican Republic.
Logan Forsythe takes a strike and it's 0-1. Forsythe at $1.90.
Really surprising the way he came into camp and was hitting the ball so well. These injuries with the hamstring and the foot have really hurt his hitting mechanics. Still searching for that foundation to his swing so he can make a consistent swing and keep his head still and get some hits.
0-2. Forsythe starting at third base today. Justin Turner with the afternoon off.
You know, Charlie only got 1 hit when we were in Cleveland, but he got 5 walks. So the on-base percentage hasn't struggled as much as the average.
2-2. Two and two. Forsythe takes high. 3-2. Alana.
Mentioned it earlier a little bit, Charlie, about Logan Forsythe working exclusively with Turner Ward and Dave Roberts yesterday with some early work. He said he really felt that the quality of his at-bats were there, just the contact hasn't been there. The biggest thing he's been working on as far as fine-tuning is his hand positioning.
Votto in foul territory. Second out of the second. Here's the Land Rover Performance Spotlight as Puig walks his way toward the plate. He's been walking a whole lot more this season. He's already walked more in 64 games this year than he did in 104 last year.
He's really starting to visually command the outside part of the plate. The slider low and away, the breaking ball, the fastball away yesterday.
Slicing to right and out of play.
We saw him take a borderline third strike call and got a walk out of it on a ball just off the outside edge yesterday.
On paper in the offseason, you don't envision Yasiel Puig to be hitting 8th, but it's a spot where he and the Dodgers have fared well. Ten home runs for Puig. The season evolves. You were saying before, Taylor and Bellinger, who would have thought? They weren't even on the team when they broke camp in Glendale. Who would have thought Puig would find a home batting 8th? Well, when all is said and done, the Dodgers are 42-26. This time a year ago, they were 35-33. So 7 games better than they were this time last season.
And every time Yasiel starts to swing the bat well, and you think about moving up the order, when they've done it in the past, he starts to kind of, the growth pattern of his swing and what he is building as a hitter seems to disappear because the enthusiasm of hitting up in the order. So they just want him to be comfortable and not depend on his bat.
on strikes. That's 5 strikeouts for Asher Wojciechowski. Dodgers go in order. On the Ohio River, and closed captioning this afternoon brought to you by Wiener Schnitzel. Dodgers go into the bottom of the second with Schebler, Peraza, and Mesoraco facing Hyun-Jin Ryu. Ryu struggled through the first through 25 pitches. Last night, Alex Wood, who was so great, threw 23 pitches in the first 2 innings. And here is Schebler, having a breakout year with his 18 home runs. No balls and a strike. Schebler, Peraza, and Mesoraco to hit for the Reds in the bottom half of the second inning. Iowa born and bred. Inside and low. And it's 1-1. Solon, Iowa. Not too far from Iowa City and home of the Iowa Hawkeyes. The 1-1 into center field. Drops in front of Peterson for a base hit, beginning the bottom of the second.
Schebler has changed his batting stance. He's looking a lot like Joey Votto up there. More of a crouch, hands right by his chest, looking very Votto-ish other than the no choking up. But boy, he's a lot more compact and short to the baseball right there. Surprising to have a swing like that and have your power increase, but he is a strong young man, and Joey Votto has proved to him that you can hit in that stance and still hit for power.
Schebler and Seager were chums in the minor league system with the Dodgers. Now Peraza. Just a handful of games with the Dodgers a couple of years back. Went around and it's 0-1.
In some ways, it's like an inter squad game from a few years back. All these Dodger connections with these first 2 hitters.
Peraza from Venezuela. Both Peraza and Schebler came from the Dodgers in a 3-team trade. Dodgers would get Trace Thompson, Micah Johnson, and Frankie Montas. 2-1. The White Sox would end up with Todd Frazier. 2-1 with Mesoraco on deck. Schebler's stolen 3 out of 4 this year. The Reds have stolen 60 out of 75. Ryu pulls a string and Peraza nearly comes out of his shoes. From the time we arrived at the ballpark about 4 hours ago, the wind has been blowing steadily from right field toward left. The 2-2. For Ryu, that's his 3rd strikeout, and that's the first out of the 2nd inning.
Peraza went fishing for this. Ryu just dropped the lure in the water down there, and he bit on it.
Now Devin Mesoraco hit a big 3-run home run last weekend at Dodger Stadium and broke Alex Wood's heart last night with a 2-out home run in the 8th. Dodgers, of course, would win it 3-1. For Mesoraco, his 6th home run of the year. He and Tucker Barnhart have been sharing time behind the plate for manager Brian Price. On to second base is Schebler on the wild pitch.
Osmani's blocked a few balls here today. This one happens to get away from him a little bit. Schebler with a nice read, was off and running. Even if that would have just been about 6 feet away, looks like he would have made it.
So Schebler and Seager getting reacquainted out there. Two balls, no strikes. There's a strike. 2-1 to Devin Mesoraco.
Mesoraco has shown us that he can hit the high fastball. Even the one inside does a good job keeping his hands and using his torso to power the ball.
10 years ago, he was a first-round pick of the Reds. Now it's 3-1.
I think with the Dodger staff, he's going to have to prove that he can hit something off speed, because he has proven that he can hit the fastball.
Wojciechowski on deck. And Mesoraco takes a walk. First walk given up by Ryu. 2 on, 1 out. Wojciechowski has been to the plate 5 times and hasn't done terribly well. No sacrifices, no nothing. Billy Hamilton on deck. Schebler at second, Mesoraco at first. One ball, no strikes. Bottom of the 5th in Denver, and the Rockies are leading the Giants 2-1. And a short right, and there's Puig. Well, that didn't fool anybody, did it?
You pulled a bat back. You're trying to really hit the ball on the ground if the infielder's moving around and they're crashing in on you. Wojciechowski pops it up. That doesn't do any good.
2 out, and here's Hamilton, who singled to right and scored in his first at bat. Hamilton at 241, 1 home run and 17 runs batted in. Takes a strike on the outside corner. Hamilton, a second-round pick in 2009. Missing outside. First couple of pitches staying away from Billy Hamilton. He singled to right in his first at-bat. Staying away again for a strike, 1-2. Ryu 25 pitches in the first inning, 18 here in the second. 2 on, 2 out. And 2-2.
You want to play the infield deep here because you don't want the runner at second to get in on a ball that gets by you in the infield, but you play deep to prevent that run, and you give Billy Hamilton an extra step or two to get an infield hit.
Cozart's on deck. Schebler singled, Mesoraco walked, and Hamilton grounds it foul. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, and Hamilton stays alive as fouls it back.
Completely different swings when the ball's away compared to when the ball's in. You can see why the Dodgers have worked him away. That ball inside that he just turns on with the fast twitch fiber that he's got. But that one away, he kind of loses his balance and falls at it.
Keeps it alive at 2-2. Now it's 3-2. That'll give the runners a head start. Schebler at second and Mesoraco at first. Hamilton doesn't walk enough and strikes out too much as a leadoff hitter. 19 walks, 60 strikeouts.
He's 100 points below on base percentage average of a big leaguer, and he's a leadoff hitter.
A 3-2. He'll see another pitch. But of course, when he gets on base, he's a difference maker. Gets a new bat as he busted the last one on the foul ball. Hamilton hit 260 last year. He's 238 this year. And he drills it foul. He's one of those guys, if he could just get on base more.
He doesn't get to use his best tool because the bat has been so weak.
Runners off and running again. Call strike 3, and that's going to do it. That'll get you tossed. Well, at least it's going to get you fined. So Hamilton down on strikes. The Reds leave 2. And Billy Hamilton is angry.
Play. Ryu throws a low fastball here, 3-2 to Hamilton. Take a look at pitch cast. It's got it as a strike. Billy Hamilton doesn't have it as a strike. He jumps, almost get ejected right there. Throws the bat, gets a fine for throwing equipment. But then Brian Price continues from the dugout, and he gets ejected. That is his 10th ejection of his career and his first one this year.
And Stu Shearwater from Canada. He's a vacation reliever. Looked like he got the call third strike right based on the replay. Hamilton's lucky he didn't get ejected, but as soon as Brian Price came out to argue balls and strikes, he was done.
I thought the young umpire did a very good job. Great strike zone, got that right. Didn't eject Hamilton, but got him for the equipment fine, which kind of calms that issue down. And then the manager continues. He needs to be rung.
Well, the Reds have lost 7 straight. They have really been struggling. And so you can understand Brian Price's frustration. Well, that has certainly angered the citizens of Cincinnati. 2 balls, no strikes. Well, Utley on deck, Seager to follow. The Bronx cheer travels well. Now 3-1.
They are wired up.
Ryu has walked twice this year.
We're going to see how their endurance is, if they're going to cheer or boo every pitch.
Ryu leading off the 3rd. And off the glove of Cozart into left field.
Ryu gave himself a chance, hit the ball hard, made this not a easy play. Pretty routine for a big league shortstop, but this one getting botched by Cozart.
The Reds have made only 31 errors this year. That's the 2nd fewest in the National League. That turned out to be the 32nd. Now Utley with Ryu aboard. To the right side. Only one play for Peraza. Ryu goes to second.
MLB.com at Bat is your #1 mobile app for live Dodger baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Get Dodgers home screen icons and apps features, as well as game day live game video highlights, radio broadcasts, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at Bat today.
Now Corey Seager. Doubled in his first at bat. And would come around to score for the 48th time this year. Seager in the top 10 in runs scored. Takes inside and low. 1 ball and no strikes. Seager at the moment 2nd in the National League All-Star balloting for shortstop. Zach Cozart, as of last week, was in 1st place. But in the past week, Cozart has been slumping, and Seager's beginning to turn things around. One ball and 1 strike. Corey's family was in the Starbucks around the corner from the hotel this morning. Drove 7.5 hours from North Carolina to watch Corey play, and they're heading back tomorrow morning. They're going to miss a rainy day. 2-1. How about mom and dad having Kyle and Corey Seager, 2 of the great young stars in the game?
Some good genes.
And they're good people, which is makes it even better. Here's a 2-1. Seager takes outside. And it's 3-1. It's a big deal if you're a parent. You watch your kid go play Little League.
I got more nervous watching my kids than playing.
Here's the 3-1. Seager takes a walk. Well, I imagine when you're playing, you have some control over your circumstances.
Something to do also. Sitting there watching and grinding on it. And always trying not to be that parent.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
Well, here's Chris Taylor. He struck out swinging in his first at bat. A nice round 300. First and second, one out. We're in the third. Votto with no chance.
These are the situations where this game today, with this wind and this ballpark, can really start to cut loose. And you're going to need an inning or two like this where all of a sudden you put a crooked number on the board, I think, to win today.
Taylor on 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Then you have the other side of the coin. Just these two teams heading in different directions at the moment. Reds have lost 7 straight. The Dodgers have won 7 of 8. Dodgers have 18 comeback wins this year. And the Reds, they've had 21 blown leads. A 1-1. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. Mesoraco got digged. So if you can grab a lead on a team that's down and keep the metaphorical foot on their throats. The Reds manager Brian Price has already been thrown out today. But we're tied 2 on 1 out in the third. Bellinger on deck. One ball, 2 strikes, and 1 out in the top half of the third.
Chris Taylor fouled off the last 2 pitches. The one before this last one was a fastball down the middle he just missed, and now that slider was slightly up and he fouled off. Looks like he is pretty much locked in if he can force him into the strike zone.
And the 1-2 into left and over the head of Duvall to the wall. Ryu will score. Here comes Seager. The throw to the plate, not in time. Cut off by Votto. Taylor delivers a 2-run double, and the Dodgers take a 3-1 lead.
Foul ball on a fastball, foul ball on a slider, and then another fastball. They're trying to go away, and it leaks down the middle, and Chris Taylor doesn't miss this one. Right there, just tailed back right down the middle. He puts a good swing on it and some nice base running to score 2. And Taylor continues to prove that he belongs in the middle of the order and always in the lineup.
So Taylor with the 2 RBIs now has 31 on the season. That was his 13th double. And here is Bellinger, who doubled home a run in his first at bat. Drilled to right. He nearly hit a home run the first time. He has hit a home run the second time. A 2-run shot. Bellinger's 19th home run of the year. And the Dodgers, just like that, take themselves a 5-1 lead.
Smells like a crooked number with first and second. Taylor drives one in and Bellinger drives one out. Wow. He'll be looking for his 5th multi-homer game this year if he can hit another one today.
Well, he joins Joey Votto and for the league lead in home runs. Votto, Zimmerman, and Thames have 19, and so does Bellinger. Only Cody's done it in 49 games. He just has that sweet uppercut home run swing. Now Peterson. '21-year-old Cody Bellinger, 23-year-old Corey Seager. The present and the future. Austin Bryce. Warming up in the Reds bullpen. 1-1 to Jock Peterson, who homered last night. And it's 1-2. We were just talking earlier in the inning about how here's a red hot Dodger team that's won 7 of 8. They're 7 games better than they were this time a year ago. And the Reds, who've lost 7 straight. And you get the sense that the Reds bubble has burst, and another puncture wound. Peterson's second home run in as many nights. The Dodgers go back to back. It is 6-1.
Well, Jock Peterson 2 for 3 yesterday with a home run and a double and an RBI. Also walked. He has been seeing the ball really well in Cleveland. He was spotting it up well, and he has continued that way here in Cincinnati. Ohio has been very good to Jock.
So the Dodgers now with the 6-1 lead. Wojciechowski's day is done. Here in Cincinnati, they will wonder if the Bryce is right when we come back.
LA is brought to you by the Ram 1500 Rebel. Experience the power and toughness of Ram at your local dealer. And by Jack in the Box. Come try the new sweet or spicy barbecue bacon cheeseburger and chicken sandwich. Limited time only.
Who's in, who's out? Brought to you by In-N-Out. Wojciechowski is out. Austin Bryce is in. A tough day at the office for Wojciechowski.
So here is Austin Bryce. Dodgers saw him last weekend on Sunday. And on the first pitch, Yasmani Grandal sees. He lathers a base hit into center field.
Dodgers nicked up Bryce on that Sunday, Charlie. He went 1 inning, 2 hits, 2 runs that were both earned, a home run. Only threw 11 pitches, but here it only took him 1 pitch to give up the hit to Yasmani, and they swing there.
The inning began innocently enough when Utley bounced to second base, but Seager walked, Taylor doubled, Bellinger a home run, Peterson a home run, now Grandal a base hit. The inning actually began when Ryu got aboard on an error by Cozart. That would really open the door. And Forsythe, who's been struggling, looking to get hot on this muggy afternoon. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier. You have 2 teams heading in different directions, and one feels like they can turn on the accelerator at any time, and the other team is like there's a sense of impending doom. And certainly that has happened here in the 3rd inning as the Dodgers have scored 5. Talk about a crooked number.
And 2 completely stated goals. Dodgers looking for success in October, and Cincinnati publicly saying this is a rebuilding year. One team's philosophy lends itself to teamwork. The other one lends itself to really more individual accomplishment on Cincinnati's side.
3-1 to Forsythe.
It's a lot easier to be unselfish and do the right things at the plate on defense and as a pitcher when you're working towards a team goal of winning a championship compared to knowing you're in a rebuilding year and you're just trying to play for a contract and individual stats.
Forsythe to center, and that's Hamilton. And that is at long last the 2nd out of the inning. So the Dodgers now have batted around with Puig, the 9th hitter of the inning.
Boy, you can create a debate publicly on when is batting around actually completed.
As I said it, I thought it. Either way, he is the 9th batter of the inning.
Exactly. If Jock Peterson steals and gets thrown out, is it considered batting around? Does Yasiel lead off the next inning? Is it considered batting around if Yasiel is the last out of this inning, or is it until the next hitter would be Ryu, the 10th hitter, hits?
The 9th batter of the inning, Puig, bounces to short. And that's going to do it. Either way, the Dodgers come away with 5 runs. A 357-foot home run by Bellinger, topped by a 426-foot home run by Peterson.
timeless moment. That's the statue of Pete Rose, unveiled today prior to the game on September 11th, 1985. 4,192 hits, passing Ty Cobb as the all-time hits leader in Major League Baseball history.
Got to compete against Pete, of course, and boy, was it grinded out. It was the beginning of my career, end of his career, but he was still competing right to the last moment.
And in Cincinnati, where he was born and raised, he remains a hometown hero. Zach Cozart leads off here in the third. Cozart doubled in his first at-bat. Dodgers 5 runs and 6 hits, so Ryu's got a hefty lead to work with. He delivers a strike, and it's 1-1. You've just been given 5 runs as a pitcher. You've got a 5-run lead to work with. Do you go about your business any differently than you would in a close game?
It's hard to adjust and all of a sudden shut down and go, okay, I'm not going to walk anybody. I'm going to go more for the middle of the plate in this ballpark against this lineup. So I think you stick with your game plan and pitch it like it's still a 1-0 game. If for some reason you lose your release point, yes, use the middle of the plate. Try not to make pitches. But if you feel like you are on your game, I think you go for halves of the plate, and then once you get ahead, you start going for corners of the plate. Once you're ahead and it's an off-speed pitch, you try and bounce it over the middle of the plate and get him to swing.
3-1 to Cozart with Votto on deck. And a base hit into right center field. Peterson contains the damage. Cozart is 2 for 2.
It's a 3-1 count to a good fastball hitter, 5-run lead, and you come center cut with the fastball to challenge him, and he's standing at first base, whether it's a walk or the base hit.
Joey Votto. Talk about job security. He is signed through 2024. 1 ball, no strikes. A Reds lifer. Into left center field for a base hit. So the Reds are now trying to pick away.
Now if you're Ryu, you're just trying to get to the 5th inning to get a chance to get the W and get your team closer to the end of the game. This is not looking good right here. 2 well hit balls on a line.
Now Duvall, 15 home runs on the year. Yeah, we talked about it in the open. One of the things that Dave Roberts would desperately like to get out of Ryu is some length.
That starts with getting strike 1 like right here compared to the 3-1 to Cozart and then having to come in with a fastball. But length comes from efficiency, and efficiency comes from throwing strikes early in the count.
And last night's performance by Alex Wood, a perfect example of that. 8 innings and only 89 pitches. And this is going to be Ryu's 59th already. Delivers a strike.
Alex Wood was throwing close to 80% strikes in his hot streaks. Clayton Kershaw up there too, 75 to 78% strikes coming right at you.
Eugenio Suarez on deck. Ryu on 0-2. And the pitch. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Efficiency, the name of the game, Alana.
Well, Charlie, beginning last season, Dave Roberts asked all of his starting staff, really all of his pitchers in general, to take a page out of Clayton Kershaw's book as far as attacking the strike zone, getting ahead of hitters, being efficient, and really trying to get as much out of each pitch as possible. He said that to Alex Wood last year. Alex Wood has kind of taken that to heart. He's also encouraging, if you will, the rest of the staff to do the same.
Ryu on 1 and 2. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Clayton really doesn't throw a waste pitch. He gets ahead of hitters, and then he doesn't throw like a 0-2 setup pitch or a 1-2, oh, this will be a setup pitch for the 3-2 pitch. He just continues to throw the pitch that'll get him out right now.
2 and 2. Chop, foul. Duvall fly to center field in his first at bat. His career has blossomed in Cincinnati. Came over from the Giants. And the 2-2. Into left. Gonna drop in front of Taylor. 3 hits in a row for the Reds in the bottom of the 3rd. Singles for Cozart, Votto, and now Duvall.
All 3 balls hit on a line. This one hit the weakest. This is just kind of a jam shot line drive. Just kind of casts it over the infield, short of the outfield.
Now Rick Honeycutt, along with Ryu's interpreter. Theoretically, they've got 30 seconds to get the message across, and there is no discount when it comes to a translator.
You would think you get a little extension, but they're trying to keep the game moving. I think as long as there's a conversation right there, they're going to allow it to continue.
Well, whatever was said with great haste. And here is Suarez, who is dangerous business this year when the bases are loaded. He struck out in his first at bat. Cozart, Votto, and Duvall the runners. High, 1 ball, no strikes. They average about 10.5 runs per game at the Great American Ballpark. That's the 4th highest total in Major League Baseball. Well, we're already 7 runs in. It's 6-1 Dodgers. And Ryu, who was staked to a 5-run lead in the top of the 3rd, as the bases loaded and nobody out. 1 ball, 2 strikes. In Colorado in the 7th inning, the Rockies are leading the Giants 3-1. And Josh Fields going to work in the Dodger bullpen. Two and 2. Diamondbacks and Phillies are scoreless in the 3rd inning in Philadelphia. Two balls and 2 strikes. Schebler on deck. Now 3 and 2. Ryu faced 5 batters in the 1st, 5 in the 2nd. Bases loaded, nobody out here in the 3rd. And his next pitch will be his 69th. Full count. Wood last night didn't throw his 69th pitch until the 6th inning. And Ryu walks in a run.
At the beginning of the inning, Charlie, you asked me what do you feel like when you've got a 5-run lead and you're going out to the mound. And I feel like you got a big lead, but you still have to pitch. And Ryu has gotten nicked up for some singles and now pushes across to run himself. That would be a Cardinal sin.
Honeycutt on the phone with Josh Bard, the bullpen coach. How ready is Fields? Meanwhile, here's Schebler. He's the tying run. Single to center in his first at bat. Into the glove of Seager with the shift on and paying off. That's the first out.
Line 6 at 4. You see Corey Seager there almost playing double play depth as a second baseman, but he's normally the shortstop. Now 4 line drives for the Reds this inning, and 1 gets caught.
And here's another former Dodger, Jose Peraza. Struck out swinging in his first at bat. Peraza 3 home runs and 21 runs batted in. Each team with a run in the first. The Dodgers 5 in the top half of the 3rd inning. And here are the Reds with 1 out, 1 in, and the bases loaded. Up the middle, Ryu comes home. 1, 2, 3. And the inning is over, and Ryu breathes an enormous sigh of relief. 6-2 Dodgers. We head to the 4th.
Slow-mo cam of Mr. Ryu fielding his position and getting himself out of this inning. The line drives, 1 caught. This comebacker, like a line drive, 1 hopper right back to him, protects his face, realizes, okay, I got a chance for double play. Watch the hesitation after he catches it. Oh, little reaction. Okay, now let's get this ball home, and then it's pretty simple for Yasmani to get it down to Cody to make that 1-2-3 out of the inning.
What could have been a really disastrous bottom half of the 3rd. Instead, here's Ryu leading it off in the top of the 4th. Got a board on an error by Zach Cozart in the 3rd inning. Takes inside, 1 ball, no strikes. That would open the door for a 5-run top half of the inning.
that featured back-to-back home runs by Bellinger and Peterson. Two and 0. Utley and Seager to follow. Two and 1. Billy Hamilton, to say he's shallow doesn't do the word shallow full justice. 3 and 1. There he is. But of course he can cover as much ground as anybody. And Ryu takes a walk. Austin Bryce on in relief of Asher Wojciechowski, who got cuffed around pretty good in 2 1/3 innings and gave up 2 home runs. Utley 0 for 2. He struck out and bounced out.
Once or twice.
No balls and a strike to Chase Utley. After the first week of May, Utley was languishing at .098. He's hit .309 overall since then. That's a base hit. Ryu is on his way to third, and Utley stays at first. When you're hot, you're hot.
Ryu started the last inning, which led to 5 runs, getting on with an error. Now a walk, and Utley finds a hole down the line.
And it brings up Seager, who has doubled and walked and scored 2. Well, the Reds had the bases loaded and 1 out and a run in the bottom of the 3rd, but an inning-ending 1-2-3 double play. There's a line drive base hit into right. The momentum that the Reds might have had was killed by that double play, and the Dodgers seized upon that momentum here in the 4th, and they lead it now 7-2.
Well, he just picks on a slider right down the middle. It's up. And the good thing about this, driving the run, and the run is Ryu, so he gets to sit down, get some water, get rested up, because the pitching is the key part now after the offense has put all this padding on the board, and they look like it's going to continue.
So Seager is 2 for 2. Taylor stepping in. Dodgers once again lead by 5. 0-1. Chris Taylor has struck out, doubled, and scored a run. Knocked in 2. Seager with an RBI. Taylor has 2. Bellinger has 3. And Peterson has driven in a run. No balls, 2 strikes to Chris Taylor. You can't smell momentum, you can't taste it, but you can feel it. And when the Reds were beginning to mount that little comeback, the inning-ending double play burst their bubble, and the Dodgers have seized upon it here in the 4th. Already a run is in. We see it and feel it up here. Do you see it and feel it when you're playing too?
Yeah, a little bit of the eye test, because if you feel like the pitcher on the mound really doesn't have dominant stuff, not putting people away. If he looks like his body language is he doesn't believe in his stuff. And then you see your hitters up there in the box comfortable and taking good swings, even though the ball hasn't flown out of the ballpark yet, or it's just getting fouled back. You can start to see the equation develop.
1-2 to Taylor. He's down on strikes. That's the first out of the fourth. Here comes Cody Bellinger in the third inning. And he smacked his 19th home run of the year. Jock Peterson's on deck. And Peterson swatted his second home run in as many games. First things first, here's Bellinger. Home run and a double this afternoon, and 3 runs batted in. This shortstop, Cozart, will start the double play, and Fotto will finish it. But the Dodgers tack on a run, 2 hits, and leave 1. 7-2 after 3.5.
At Dodger Stadium, purchase a Dodger Summer 6-pack and choose your favorite giveaway nights, preferred days of the week, and great matchups. Plus, you'll get a cool t-shirt with your purchase. Visit Dodgers.com/mini-plans.
So Hyun-Jin Ryu has once again been blessed with a 5-run lead. Dodgers tack on a run in the top half of the fourth. He got into and out of trouble in the third inning, and he'll be facing Mesoraco to lead it off. And it looks like Bryce is going to bat for himself, and then Billy Hamilton. Ryu, his 73rd pitch. He has struck out 3, walked 2, and misses outside and low, ball 1. Heading to the 8th in Colorado, the Rockies 5-1 over the Giants.
Giants broke on top in that game 1-0, but it didn't take much for the Rock Show to get back into it and then cruise on ahead.
The Giants are 17.5 games out of first place. At the All-Star break last year, the Giants had the best record in baseball. They were 57-33. Since that All-Star break of last year, they're 56-85. That's the second worst record in baseball. From the penthouse to the outhouse, it's like bungee jumping in the cord snap.
Well, another 21 games. That'll be a complete season from last year at All-Star break. They got a chance in that span to lose 100 games. They have to go 6 and 15 the next 21 games, and they'll have lost 100 in their last 162. That is hitting a wall.
And then a free fall. Mesoraco walked in his first at bat. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Ryu strikes him out. For Hyun-Jin Ryu, his 4th strikeout of the game, and that's the first out of the 4th.
I'll tell you what, getting out of that last inning with only 1 run, then your team comes in and gets that run back, and you feel really good about where you are now. You feel like you've got a second life.
Austin Bryce coming up, with his team trailing by 5. The Reds will keep their reliever in to maybe eat up a couple of innings. They've only got 4 guys on the bench. Scooter Gennett, Patrick Kivelin, Tucker Barnhart, and Arizmendi Alcantara. Of course, Brian Price was thrown out of the game back in the 2nd inning. And Jim Riggleman is now at the command. Two balls and a strike. Two and two.
Ryu has walked in a run with 3 singles off of him and then walked in a run. He doesn't want to walk the pitcher here. You never want to walk the pitcher, but especially in this game.
Into right, and there's Puig. Dancing through the shadows, makes the catch for the 2nd out of the 4th. It's 10 minutes to 6 here in Cincinnati, and so the shadows are beginning to make their presence felt.
It's good to be up by 5 runs as the lighting will get poorer for the hitters.
Hamilton has singled, scored a run, and has been struck out. Into left, Taylor going back, and he can't get it. And Hamilton on his way to 3rd with his 5th 3-base hit.
He smacks this ball, doesn't get it quite high enough to get it up in the wind. The wind's calmed down a little bit, but because that wall is a little taller than single story, stays in here, and with his wheels he can get a triple anywhere in the ballpark. Doesn't need to be down the right field line.
A 2-out triple for Hamilton, and here comes Cozart with a single, a double, and a run scored today. Just outside. Joey Votto on deck. Coming into the game today, in the last 7, Hamilton and Cozart won a combined 5 for 57. That's 0-88. They were 1 for 8 last night, and this afternoon combined they're 4 for 5. Slicing out of play. So Cozart, the National League's leading vote getter for starting shortstop in the All-Star game. Less than a month away now in Miami. Seager is 2nd in the voting so far. The 1-2. Big strikeout. Ryu gets out of trouble yet again. No runs, 1 hit, the 2-out triple for Hamilton. Dodgers continue to lead by 5. Hometown. Of course, the number has long since been retired here, and a statue in his honor was unveiled prior to the game today. Alana.
All right, Charlie, thanks very much. While Major League Baseball has many differing opinions about Pete Rose, one thing is certain. The city of Cincinnati absolutely loves Charlie Hustle. Today, the Reds unveiling a statue of him here at the mezzanine area. Of course, the all-time hits leader with 4,256 hits is beloved in this area. He broke Ty Cobb's record, became a player manager from 1984 to 1986. Wasn't a manager for very long, but certainly Charlie Hustle has made his way, slid his way, if you will, into the hearts of the Reds faithful.
It wasn't easy to have him pose that way, but somehow. So Pete Rose and many of his teammates from the Big Red Machine days were here today in his honor as Jock Peterson leads off in the 5th. One thing about Pete in the booth immediately to our left with Tom Brenneman and Chris Welsh. You bring up his name and you'll inspire a debate one way or the other, and it's always passionate. Nobody's ever had more hits. Of that, there is no debate. Peterson takes inside. And it's 2-1. In Cincinnati, he is a beloved figure. One of the reasons Great American Ballpark is sold out today. Jock takes outside, and it's 3-1.
He said in his speech today that I never get in front of a group and say that the Big Red Machine was the best team in baseball ever. But I will tell you, I think we were one of the most entertaining teams in baseball ever because they played the game very hard and they had a lot of talent.
Oh, could they hit? Peterson pops it up, and Mesoraco makes the play.
That ball was hit so high, which means it was hit so powerfully. You can't hit a ball this high and not hit it good. He just hit it with an uppercut and just got under it a nick. It was up there forever.
As a catcher catching a pop foul, first identifying where it is.
You try running around with your head in that position, tilted back where your neck is kind of against your back. You get a little vertigo. You got to really get used to moving around, and with the wind blowing the way it is and not knowing exactly where it is at first, you're running around sideways, backwards. all of a sudden you can lose your balance.
Grandal. 2 gone.
That's why at the end of those pop-ups sometimes you see guys fall down because they are about to lose their balance, and that last little adjustment with their feet actually kind of gets them a little off center, and they catch it, stay stable, and they don't care if they hit the ground.
But immediately identifying it's going straight up in some direction, and then all of a sudden you have to have incredible reaction.
They get the jugs machine in spring training and they point it straight up. They make the catchers lay down, face down, head down, with their face in the grass, and they shoot the ball up and they say now, and they make them get up and find it and go catch it. And they don't tell them which direction, left, right, center. They might put somebody in front of them that can point, but no words are allowed because you can't hear much at that time.
Forsythe on 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And you get some of those great fungo hitters, those coaches that have really learned to hit the fungo, that can do it manually and hit those pop-ups. That's a work of art.
Forsythe 0 for 2. Now it's 1-2. Puig on deck, and the Dodgers have out-hit the Reds 8-7. More importantly, they lead it 7-2. Bryce in his 3rd inning of relief with Puig on deck. Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out.
This is one of those days in this ballpark that 7 in some ways doesn't feel like enough. You want to keep the pedal to the metal if you're on the offensive side of the ball and you're the Dodgers.
They average 10.5 runs per game here at the Great American Ballpark. And Forsythe into right center. Hamilton's there. And a 1-2-3 inning. We're at the halfway mark after 4.5. Dodgers 7-2.
Sportsnet LA is brought to you by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Get the Toyota truck of your dreams at Toyota's Summer Drive Sales Event.
As we head to the home half of the 5th, and the Dodgers comfortably in front 7-2. It'll be Joey Votto Adam Duvall and Eugenio Suarez. Votto is 1 for 2. Ryu's yet to have a seamless inning, and it doesn't look like this inning is going to be any different. A grounds rule double for Votto to begin the 5th. So each of the first 3 hitters for the Reds, Hamilton, Cozart, and now Votto, have 2 hits.
An attempt at low and away, but ends up down center cut, and Votto makes him pay. The Reds trying to climb back in.
Now here's Adam Duvall. He's got a hit in 2 at-bats. Fly to center and single to left. It's almost as if Dave Roberts is saying to Ryu, buy me another inning.
You know, at the 90 pitch mark, 7-2 lead, you got to feel like this is the last inning he would go with him. It's much cooler up here in the booth than it is down there on the field.
1 ball and 1 strike to Duvall with Suarez on deck. Ryu has struck out 5 and he's walked 2. As you see, 91 pitches. The 1-1. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well located changeup right there.
Duvall with 15 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Votto's at second base. The Reds have as many hits as the Dodgers do. The 1-2. Got him. Grandal eyes Votto before throwing to first. And for Ryu, his 6th strikeout.
Well, don't miss the highly anticipated annual Freeway Series driven by Lexus when the Dodgers and the Angels face off at Dodger Stadium on June 26th and 27th. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
So 1 out as the Shadows make their way around the home plate area. Suarez has struck out and has walked. Scott Schebler is on deck. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Votto's at second base. He's 2 for 3 today. Votto hitting .307 at the moment. Suarez at .281. One of those quiet under the radar trades with the Tigers a couple of years back. Alfredo Simon goes to Detroit. Suarez comes here. And he has turned into a really solid player. The Reds feel pretty good about their offense and their defense. It's the pitching, particularly the starting pitching, which, to be charitable, is a work in progress. The 2-2 is a foul off to the left.
A lot of high expectations for a lot of young arms from their minor leagues, but when they come up here, they haven't done the job, and they haven't been polished as quickly as they thought as they were drafted and developed.
Only the Diamondbacks have a lower ERA than the Dodgers starting pitching. To center field, Jock Peterson is there. Votto tags and goes to third. There's 2 out. So between the first place Rockies, a 1-game lead in front of the Diamondbacks and Dodgers. If the first place Washington Nationals in the National League East were in the National League West, they'd be in 4th place.
How about the Chicago Cubs? I think they're about 500.
They are precisely 500 and 8 games out of the wild card race.
That's what they would be if they were in the National League West. It'd be 9 games out of first and 8 games still out of the wild card.
If you are what your record says you are, the National League Western Division is the best in baseball. 3 teams with 42 or more wins. Off to the left and out of play. Rockies by 1 over the D-backs and Dodgers, and the Padres 16 back, and San Francisco on the verge of falling 18.5 games off the pace. Rockies have a 5-1 lead in Colorado, and the Giants are hitting in the 9th. 0-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Scott Schebler. Has single to center. And line to short. The shift is on for him. And the count is 1-2.
Two out, man on third, 5-run lead. You don't think this is a big at bat, but Schebler with 18 home runs. One swing, he can all of a sudden change Ryu's complete day, put pressure on the Dodger offense to keep scoring runs. It's a big out.
And Schebler fighting it off. Schebler's name does not appear on the National League All-Star ballot. Here comes the 1-2 to first. Bellinger's got it. And once again, Ryu wriggles out of any sort of trouble. No runs and a hit. We go to the 6th. Dodgers 7-2. Quite a night for Alex Wood last night. 8 innings, 1 run, and 4 base hits. He remains undefeated. And it's time now for the Unlimited Baseball Break, brought to you by T-Mobile. We talked way back in the open today about how locked in he is, and he said he's got the best stuff he has ever had. And you have walked the path that he is currently walking as Puig leads off here in the 6th inning. What kind of journey is that when you know you come to work every 5th day? You got it.
You have a lot of confidence. I know Alex Wood is riding high right now, and health-wise, mechanic-wise, he's always been a hard worker and a dedicated guy that competes.
Puig to center. Hamilton's going back, way back, and it is gone. A home run. Yasiel Puig hits his 11th home run of the year, and the Dodgers take an 8-2 lead. 3rd home run of the day for the Dodgers. 1 for Bellinger, 1 for Peterson, and now 1 for Puig.
Yasiel continues to develop as a hitter, and here a ball that would have ended up low and away, he stays down and through that and gets it in the air. Saw him dig out a couple other low pitches here in Cincinnati in game 1 and in Cleveland. That swing is getting better and better.
And Kike Hernandez is going to pinch hit for Hyun-Jin Ryu, who leaves the game on the winning side of the ledger, and that is Puig's 11th home run. He has 35 runs batted in. And Ryu leaves with a 6-run comfortable cushion. Luis Avalon will come in and pitch the bottom of the 6th.
It's good to get Ryu up the tunnel with a positive feeling, partially because of the offense and partially because of his work.
He threw 105 pitches, 65 for strikes.
Sometimes you can get on a roll as a pitcher when you kind of get rescued in a game, that bases loaded situation. He walked a run in, but then got the double play. Had a fortunate line drive out to Corey Seager that helped him, but then he settled in and long enough to possibly get the W.
1-2. Kike fouls it back. Rockies beat the Giants 5-1. So the Dodgers, in order to stay within 1 of Colorado, need to hang on here, and they've got a 6-run lead to work with. Utley on deck, Seager to follow. Outside, 2-2. Meanwhile, back at Alex Wood, and where he's going now and where you had been those many years ago. I guess everything tastes better, feels better, looks better.
Sure does.
When you've got the confidence that he has and you had.
When you're executing at a very high level and you understand that even when you miss a little bit, you still got a really good chance to get people out, and your mistakes and your spray pattern is really tight. I think Alex can continue on. I mean, I remember in '85, it was like my 2nd full year in the big leagues, and Alex is healthy, and it's going to be a full season for him, hopefully in the rotation. He's 7-0, and there's a lot of starts left. It could be a really big year for him.
Utley, who is 1 for 3, takes low and outside, 1 ball and no strikes.
I hope his year ends a little better than ours did in 1985. We lost to the Cardinals in the playoffs. That's when Jack Clark hit the home run and Ozzie Smith hit a home run off us and knocked us out.
1-1 to Utley. So Wood with a 1.90 ERA. Opponents are hitting just 188 against him.
And last night went 8 innings.
I get a question sometimes, Charlie, about how did I have a year where my ERA was 2.03, and I always say, well, it was easy for 5 starts because I got those ESPN baseball games, and I had 5 of them where the hitters couldn't see the ball because of the light for about 4 innings.
Oh, that 5 o'clock start.
Yeah,
huh?
I got 5 of those that year, and so it wasn't like all my stuff was that much better and I was in that much better shape or pitching better. It was just the hitters couldn't see the ball for about 15 innings.
Now that's an interesting asterisk to that number.
You know, you look at where your starts are sometimes, where that year maybe you had more road starts in pitchers parks compared to hitters parks.
Well, you see what Utley has to deal with here now.
Yeah, in LA at that time, boy, it was very blinding. The Dodger Stadium roof does not have that filtered edge like it does here. It's a very abrupt line.
The dark side of the moon.
It is dark and light. No filtering of light.
Utley takes a call, strike 3. 2 out. Bryce's 3rd strikeout, 2 gone, and Corey Seager coming up.
Alex Wood doesn't qualify yet for the ERA title, but he should catch guys and get enough innings maybe in the next 6 or 7 starts. As long as he's going 6 or 7 innings in his starts, he should qualify at some point. He'll have to have 162 innings by the end of the year.
It's another fella. As we were breaking camp, was he going to start? Was he going to relieve? What was he going to do? And we were talking about Bellinger earlier. Wasn't with the club when the Dodgers broke camp.
And if you listen to Dave Roberts during spring training interviews and the narrative on each pitcher that was competing for the rotation, you could always hear a little bit about Ross Stripling and Alex Wood, that they can go either way, or they're very comfortable pitching as a starter or as a reliever.
Not unlike Kike Hernandez and Chris Taylor.
Exactly. So you have the competition for the starting jobs in the lineup and in the rotation or the bullpen equation. But if you just listen to the narrative a little bit on how it's spun, you can figure out where a guy's going to fall.
Never any doubt about where Seager would end up. Unanimous selection for Rookie of the Year last year. He nearly gets hit by a pitch. It's 2-1. That's always fascinating when you read the magazines in the winter and how teams are going to project out. Bunch of hooey. Because stuff happens.
Well, you don't want your players coming into camp thinking I don't have a chance to win a job. So you've got to keep the language, the quotes, the feeling of the jobs are open. But if you really look and inspect it, you can start to really get about 95% of the roster nailed down on, especially teams that are headed for a championship season.
The 3-1. Seager takes a walk, his 2nd of the day. Corey Seager's family is here, and they've watched him get on base all 4 times today. A single and a double and 2 walks.
He's redeeming himself from yesterday. They drove that whole way and watched him get picked off. Here he went to bed and said, I'll show you something today.
Oh, Mom. Jim Riggleman is now going to come out and make himself a double switch with Chris Taylor coming up.
I love that about my parents. After a bad Little League game driving home, never was about the game, was always about encouragement and really, what do you want for dinner?
The lefty Tony Cingrani's on his way in. When we come back, Dodgers with a 6-run lead.
On an all-new episode of Backstage Dodgers, follow Clayton Kershaw through his on-the-road pitching routine during the Dodgers' first visit into Progressive Field. Plus, Franklin Gutierrez returns to Cleveland, where he made his Major League debut. Don't miss Backstage Dodgers, presented by Hankook Tires, Thursday after the post-game show on Sportsnet LA.
Patrick Kivelin is now in right field, part of a double switch. Tony Cingrani is now on the hill, making his 10th appearance. And so Scott Schebler is the last man standing, and he's out of the game. Chris Taylor to face Cingrani, and a toss to first base. And Seager's got a couple of stolen bases this year, back easily. Taylor a double and a run scored in 3 at-bats. He's knocked in 2. Dodgers leading at 8-2. And if things go according to where we are now, the Reds will have lost 8 straight, and the Dodgers will go 5-0 against Cincinnati this year. The throw is high and wide, and when you're down and out, the Reds are struggling.
Not the easiest of plays, but once it's in his glove, he's got plenty of time to throw it accurately over there. Just comes underneath it, throws a slice over there that takes Votto off the bag.
When you're hot, you're hot. When you're not, you're not. So the error on Suarez. That's the second error of the day for the Reds, and here's Bellinger, who has doubled, homered, and bounced into a double play. In his first at-bat, the wind cost him a home run. A high, majestic shot down the right field line, where it's only 325 feet from the plate. But the wind has been blowing from left toward right all day. Knocked it down. He thought he had a home run. He was kind of admiring his work. But there was no doubt about his at-bat in the 3rd inning when he rocketed a home run into the stands in right center. Well, they keep mentioning Bellinger's name for the home run derby, and he said, fine by me.
And let's raise the bar and mention him for the all-star team.
A 1-2 outside, and the runners will advance. Seager to 3rd and Taylor to 2nd.
Really no better power hitter in the game since he's been called up. He's right there. He's one of the top 2 or 3.
Two balls, 2 strikes, and 2 out to Cody Bellinger. Into left center, and in and over to make the catch. Duvall. That's going to do it. Dodgers tack on another run, their 3rd home run of the game. This one by Puig. Dodgers 8-2.
at the game summary brought to you by Morongo, and a lot of it happened in the third inning. The 5 runs, back-to-back home runs. Bellinger's 19th, Peterson's 4th. They were bombs as the Dodgers expanded their lead, and Ryu coasted through with a lot of work with this 1-2-3 double play. The 7 left on base are the key for him. He worked very hard to get a chance to get the W.
2 runs and 8 hits, struck out 7 and walked 2. Dodgers hang on and win this thing. Ryu will win his 3rd, and here is Luis Avalon, his 26th appearance. And Jose Peraza will be leading it off for the Reds. 8-2, bottom of the 6th. Peraza 0 for 2. It was Peraza who bounced into that 1-2-3 double play with the bases loaded and 1 out in the 3rd. The Dodgers had scored 5 in the top half of the 3rd. The Reds responded with 1, and then that inning-ending double play just seemed to take the heart out of the Reds. Dodgers would come back with a run in the top half of the 4th, tack on another in the 6th. So it's 8-2. Dodgers and Reds wrap up the series tomorrow, but it's supposed to rain most of the day. How hard and whether or not these 2 teams will be able to play through it, we'll find out together. But this is the last time the Dodgers are scheduled to be in Ohio this year. Maeda and Bronson Arroyo. One and 2 to Peraza. The 40-year-old Bronson Arroyo appears to be on the ropes. Got an ERA of over 7. 1-2. Low and outside, 2-2. It's one of those things where he's such a popular figure on this team and in this town, and to watch him struggle as he has, it's been a tough season for him.
Playing time is an asset to a ball club, and so do you have Bronson take the innings, or do you help develop one of the younger pitchers?
2-2. Foul back and out of play. It's difficult for the Reds to make that determination. And while they're in last place in the National League Central, they're only 6.5 back, and Milwaukee's in first place. And folks are wondering legitimately, can Milwaukee run the table? Will the Cubs finally awaken? The Cardinals have been disappointing, and the Pirates are 7 under 500. Peraza's down on strikes, first out of the 6th.
Milwaukee's going to have to hit the ball hard in the 10 fewer at bats, because they strike out about 10 times a game. So they're going to have to hit it consistently when they finally do hit it.
The Cubs, will they awaken from their hibernation? But outside of that, Cardinals have been disappointing. You know, the Pirates have been devastated by injuries and a drug suspension. Milwaukee, and they maintain. So the Reds, even though they're going through a bad period, they've lost 7 in a row and appear to be on the verge of winning or losing 8 straight. At what point do they say, all right, let's take a look to the future even sooner?
If I was forced to risk anything, I would take the Cubs.
Yeah.
And have them wake up from their slumber at 500, only 2.5 out. They could easily have a first half hangover from last year that they went through and accomplished. Just the way they extended the celebration at Wrigley over 3 days to celebrate last year can distract you, and the wear and tear on their pitching staff, especially their starters, to go that deep and all the way through October, might take them a little while to find their sea legs this year.
And the rotations are getting a little bit older there too.
Yeah, Jake Arrieta, John Lester, John Lackey.
Three balls and one strike. Devin Mesoraco has walked and struck out. It's now 3-2. Mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the Cubs right now are 8 games out of a wild card spot.
Better win your division.
Because as of now, somebody's going to win the West, and there are 2 other teams with a big leg up in the wild card race. Into right, Bellinger, Utley. Bellinger can't get it. And Mesoraco is on his way to third. Puig was so far off the line. Bellinger was the only one with a half a chance.
This ball is hit exactly where it needed to be hit, to be between those 3 fielders, Utley, Bellinger, and Puig. And what made it extra difficult is the ball looked like it was going to go in the stands, but the wind blowing across the diamond right to left. You see the meandering path of Bellinger as he tried to get over there, and it is so hard to give that extra effort when nobody really can call it. So everybody is about a half step slower getting to the spot, because no one is sure they can get to it, so they can't call it. So everyone is kind of feeling for the ball.
1 out, and here's Kivlin. This is his first at bat of the day. Came in part of a double switch. Rolls it to first. Bellinger comes home and out at the plate. Nothing's going right for the Reds.
Yeah, I don't know if they might review this, because the tag was up pretty high. Take a look at it here on the Carl's Cam replay. Take the first look at it. Cody Bellinger makes a very sweet job charging the ball and getting the throw off accurately, but the tag is up near the waist. Ball significantly beats him. And they're going to move on and say he was out.
Now with 2 out, Billy Hamilton takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Dodgers winners of 7 of their last 8. On the verge of going 5-0 on the Reds this year. And if they hang on and win this thing, and they lead it by 6, the Dodgers will be 16-3 against Cincinnati since 2015. Two balls and a strike to Billy Hamilton, who has singled and tripled. He took a called 3rd strike to end the 2nd inning. Didn't like the call. Threw his bat through his helmet. And then his manager, Brian Price, threw a tantrum and got thrown out.
It is very classy for a hitter to do that and then go back into the video room, see that it was a strike, and in your next at bat come up and tell the umpire, hey, my bad, you got it right, I got carried away. Billy sees that replay and sees that it was a strike. He does owe the umpire an apology, and that'll go a long way in getting some respect.
Home plate umpire Stu Shearwater. Two and two. Checks his swing.
And it's 3-2. After the game tomorrow, and there's rain in the forecast, Dodgers will host the Mets. A 4-game series. Next weekend, the Rockies are in town. Here's a 3-2.
In September, the Dodgers have 3 games against the Diamondbacks and 3 games against the Rockies. And the Diamondbacks and the Rockies play 7 times in September. We end up in Colorado for 3, and Arizona ends up against Kansas City to end the year. If you think this race is going to be tight the whole way, those will be very important games.
3-2. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Avalon. 2 strikeouts here in the 6th. Got Peterson, Grandal, and Forsythe to hit in the 7th.
Dodger Baseball on Sportsnet LA is brought to you by Nissan. Choose Nissan today for great offers on our most exciting lineup ever. Shop ChooseNissan.com. And by Carl's Jr., the baby back rib burger only at Carl's Jr.
Dodgers sitting pretty as we go to the top half of the 7th inning. Peterson, Grandal, and Forsythe to hit against Tony Cingrani. What began the day as a sold-out house of 42,431. Some have left. Peterson 1 for 3, a 426-foot home run in the 3rd inning, and his 2nd home run in as many games. So Jock now 4 home runs and 14 runs batted in. Takes outside.
Jock has struggled against lefties, but Cingrani does not really have a big breaking ball. He can hang in there, throws a lot of fastballs.
3-0.
Jock can turn around the fastball. Cingrani really doesn't even throw a breaking ball at all. It's really fastball split, and it's really about 95% fastballs to everybody.
Jock wearing that Phantom of the Opera mask all the time now.
Yes, righties or lefties on the mound.
Three and 1 to Jock Peterson. Three and 2. Pedro Baez, the crack of the leather down in the Dodger bullpen. Baez and his 97, 98 mile-an-hour fastball. Boy, what a year he's had.
There's going to be so many all-star candidates on the Dodgers that don't make the team because there's just too many of them having good years.
Peterson stays alive.
You got to believe that Clayton Kershaw is a shoe-in. They're going to have a tough time keeping Corey Seager and Justin Turner and Cody Bellinger and Kenley Jansen off the team. Pedro Baez will be there in that group.
Baez with a .94 ERA. Only Pat Neshek and Felipe Rivero have lower earned run averages than Baez, who's currently warming in the pen. Zach Cozart. First out of the 7th.
Jock, frustrated, carried his bat all the way down to where you saw him pick it up right there. He's hit 2 super high pop-ups right on pitches, just missing him by a bit.
Now Grandal coming up. Grandal batting from the right side for the first time today. 1 for 3. Takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Logan Forsythe is on deck. Forsythe, the only Dodger hitter without a hit today. Grandal with 6 home runs, only 1 from the right side. And it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. .91 degrees and humid at game time. It hasn't cooled off any. Grandal is down on strikes. That's the 2nd out of the 7th. Now Forsythe really hasn't been the same since he broke his toe, and then he went down to get himself back into shape and retweaked his hamstring. No balls and a strike. So when you get hit by a pitch in the foot, or you're fouling off the foot, ground ball to short, it's no simple thing. Forsythe retired. The Dodgers go in order. 7th inning stretch from Cincinnati. Dodgers 8-2.
Dodger Stadium Saturday, June 24th against the Colorado Rockies, a battle for first place. That'll take place at 7:10 p.m. And the first 40,000 fans in attendance will take home a Dodgers beach towel courtesy of AM/PM. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/promotions.
Meanwhile, back at the banks of the Ohio River, Pedro Baez, who has tossed scoreless relief in his last 10 games, 10 1/3 innings, has held the opponents to a 175 batting average. What a year he is having. Bottom of the 7th, and Cozart leading it off, lofting it to left, and Taylor is there. 1 pitch, 1 out. So Avalon won an inning, no runs and a hit, struck out 2. And Votto coming up. A single, a double, and a strikeout today. Votto signed through 2023 with an option on 2024. Talk about job security. Warren Ray still lives in Toronto, and it's a strike, 0-1. Leads the league in home runs, at least tied with 19. And Bellinger joined the 19 home run club this afternoon. And for Bellinger in just his 49th game.
Yeah, on the pace we're on right now, Bellinger's going to fly by Votto and everybody else. He gave the field a handicap and wasn't here right away, and he's already caught him.
In the outside lane of a 440 race. But Votto, you can bank on him hitting 300, somewhere around 25-30 home runs a year. Get on base about better than 40% of the time. A 1-2. Checked his swing. And it's 2-2. That's Jake Buchanan. And he'll pitch the 8th. Jim Riggleman is managing this afternoon after Brian Price was thrown out of the game back in the 2nd inning, arguing balls and strikes. And letting off a little steam more than anything else. The Reds are on the verge of their 8th consecutive loss. Rockies have already beaten the Giants. Diamondbacks have a 1-0 lead in Philadelphia in the 6th inning. Votto lays off. 3-2.
Joey Votto just received a little respect right there. That looked like a strike to me.
The great hitters tend to earn those.
Yeah, that was right there.
And the great pitchers tend to get the strike zone extended some.
Here's a look at that pitch. I don't know. Was I right or wrong? No. That was the changeup.
And that, according to the video, was a strike. 3-2. And we'll do it again.
Let's go back to that 2-2 pitch. The fastball in. Yasmani wants it up, and boy, that ball's right on the corner. Yeah, it's It was a strike, I guess. I don't know. I might be wrong. Can't believe he took it.
Said the pitcher.
Exactly.
3-2 to Votto, 1 out in the bottom of the 7th. Past Bellinger into the corner. Votto, his 3rd hit of the day, rattling around in the corner, and it is stuck in the mesh.
Oh.
And then Puig picks it up.
Yasiel shouldn't have picked it up. If you're going to raise your arms and say it's stuck, you can't reach in there and get it. You've got to let the umpire come out and see that it's stuck. The ball does lodge in the fencing right there, but you can't say, oh, it's stuck, and then pick it up. Don't do that. Make the umpire come out and go, yes, it is stuck, and then it's a ground rule double.
And that's what Dave Roberts is explaining. Jim Reynolds, the crew chief.
Yeah, stadium boundary calls and lodge balls are reviewable and can be challenged. So maybe now with this change in the rule and expanded replay, you don't have to wait for the umpire. You just have to signal that you're saying it is. There's the signal. Now Yasiel reaches in and grabs it. Before replay, you had to wait. Ball stuck in the ivy and Wrigley. Ball lodged in a fence. And they're going to take him back to second.
So Votto denied a triple. However, he now has a single, with that a double and a triple today. He's 3 for 4. Jim Riggleman, the acting manager, with his boss Brian Price having been ejected, seeking clarification from home plate umpire Stu Shearwater. Duvall is 1 for 3. Taylor, Peterson, and Puig deep and straight away for Duvall, who has 15 home runs. Into right at Puig. There's 2 out. Now it's up to Suarez. This place was packed to the rafters when the game began. Big ceremonies for Pete Rose. They unveiled a statue outside the Great American Ballpark, but the crowd has thinned out considerably, with the home team down by 6. The Dodgers, should they hang on and win, will go 2 games over 500 on the road. Last year, the Dodgers were 13 under 500, 29 and 52 away from Dodger Stadium. Let me correct myself, 38 and 43. 38 and 43, they were 5 under. The Dodgers at the moment at home are 25 and 10. Only the Diamondbacks at 26 and 9 have a better home record. 0 and 2. Through 68 games, the Dodgers 42 and 26. Through
68 games last year. They were 35 and 33, just 2 over 500, and trailing the Giants at this point by 6.5. Another area where the Dodgers have improved considerably, beside their road record, facing left-handed pitching. Last year, Robert's team hit .214 against lefties, 30th out of 30. And this year, .248. The 0-2, 98, just upstairs. Suarez with Votto leading off second, and 2 out. Seager throws him out, and that'll do it. Another shutout inning of work for Baez. Dodgers 8-2. Time now for the top tier play of the game, brought to you by Arco, on a day in which Pete Rose was honored and some of the great members of the Big Red Machine. You saw Joe Morgan on crutches. He had leg surgery. He's fine. When we first saw Joe on crutches, wow. But he's okay. It was great that he was here. Joe is part of the executive office, the front office of the Cincinnati Reds. Jake Buchanan becomes the 4th Reds pitcher of the day, following Tony Cingrani, who had an inning and a third, struck out 1. Puig homered in his last at-bat. Takes inside and low, 1 ball, no strikes. Yasiel slowly but surely seems to be finding his rhythm, his stroke, and he found this one.
He gets under a low pitch, a little slider that he doesn't pull off of. Instead of topping it, he's getting under that ball, and there's a lot better results when you get it in the air.
You mean like that? Puig's second home run of the day, 12 on the year. The Dodgers have hit 4, and they lead it 9-2.
He has tremendous power. During batting practice, when they're throwing it pretty much waist high in and out, he gets under a lot of balls and puts on a show. But the swing has gotten better and better. The power is a given. The contact has not been, but it is starting to look really good.
So Puig with 2 home runs on the afternoon and 12 on the year. He is already ahead of last season. And when you've got a guy with a dozen home runs and 36 RBIs, not quite at the halfway point of the season, batting 8th. Franklin Gutierrez is pinch hitting for Baez.
The best offensive club that I played for was the mid-90s Cleveland Indians, and in the 9-hole was Sandy Alomar, the catcher, who had 20 home runs, 80 RBIs. So and that team averaged about 7 runs a game. Yasiel's down the 8-hole in a National League lineup and doing what he's doing. It's going to be a very deep and long lineup.
Josh Raven just called up the other day. We'll get his first crack at it as we go to the bottom of the 8th. So the Dodgers with 4 home runs today. They now have hit 84 on the year. Nothing in 2 to Gutierrez. To short. One out in the 8th. And that'll bring up Chase Utley. He's 1 for 4. The Dodgers this year at 42-26 have the best record in baseball against teams under 500. Utley is retired. There's 2 out. Dodgers, assuming they're going to win today, and it's a pretty good assumption, it's 9-2 with 2 out in the 8th inning. Will go to 27-11 against teams under 500. They're 16-15 against teams 500 or better. So they're beating on the people they're supposed to.
You really look at it, if it's going to end up being a 3-horse race, the record against the West is going to be something that really counts. And that's someplace that the Dodgers need to improve. They are 500 against the West, 16-16. Arizona against the West is 19-14, and the Bullies in first place by a game. The Rockies are 22-11 against the West.
One ball, 2 strikes to Corey Seager. Dodgers with a win today will go 18-6 against the Central Division. And 31-20 since they opened the Great American Ballpark. Seager today, a single, a double, 2 walks, an RBI, and 2 runs scored.
It was worth the trip for Mom and Aunt and Uncle.
A 7.5-hour drive. They're leaving tomorrow morning. Head back home, and they'll reunite with Corey when the Dodgers play the Angels. Like the Smothers brothers, the Seager say, "Mom always liked you best." Here's a 2-2. Outside 3-2. Each team with 10 hits. Dodgers lead it 9-2. 3-2 to Seager. His third walk of the day. And here comes Chris Taylor. So Buchanan has struggled here in the 8th. A 423-foot home run from Yasiel Puig. Taylor 1 for 4, a double, a run scored, and fouls it off, 0-1. It is really quite remarkable. We were talking about earlier. Taylor not with the team when the season opened. Bellinger wasn't with the team when the season opened. Alex Wood and Ross Stripling. One was going to start, one was going to be in the bullpen. Of course, now Wood 7-0, and where would the Dodgers rotation be without him? Where would the Dodgers be without Bellinger? Where would the Dodgers be without Taylor? Suarez will throw to second, and that'll end the inning. 1 run, the Puig home run. Dodgers 9-2 after 7.5.
As far as the bottom of the 8th is concerned, another Reds connection for you. Josh Raven was actually drafted by the Cincinnati Reds back in 2006 in the 5th round of the amateur draft out of Chatswood High School in California. Now, Josh Raven spent about 8 years in the Reds minor league system, and prior until today, guys, he's never pitched at Great American Ballpark. So this is his first opportunity here. It's also his first opportunity in the bigs this season. He was very candid when he was talking to us, and specifically our backstage camera crew, about wanting to pitch against the Reds. He said, you know what, I want them to see what they gave up on.
You can go home again. And here he is, Josh Raven. Dodgers with a fat 9-2 lead. And Scooter Gennett, he of the 4 home runs in a single game fame. He was honored before the game last night. Bat, all sorts of pictures, the jersey that he wore that day in a nice frame. So that was his baseball night of his life. He's batting for Buchanan, as Raven, who can muscle it up near 100 miles an hour. With 99 is close enough, and it's 0-2.
Back-to-back Wayne Gretzky's right there.
What? Not reuse?
Okay.
Gretzky's.
Gretzky. Like Gretzky slap shot. Would that be more like probably 120 miles an hour?
No balls and 2 strikes. Up high. So the Dodgers take 2 of 3 in Cleveland. They're on the verge of taking 2 out of 2 from the Reds. Since they opened the Great American Ballpark in 2003, the Dodgers are 30-20 here.
Home away from home.
Hey, I think I'm going to go to Cincinnati for the weekend and sit in the spa and have a good time, and that's what the Dodgers have done. The big Josh Raven, he was kind of scuffling down at Oklahoma City, but the Dodgers believe in his arm, and here he is. Ross Stripling sent back the other day. And the 1-2. On the left side of the infield, it is Seager. And that's the first out of the 8th. Now Peraza. There are so many Dodger-Red connections, and Peraza's another one. Traded over here along with Scott Schebler. Jim Riggleman, who's the bench coach and acting manager this afternoon, spent some time with the Dodgers. Juan Castro. Peraza 0 for 3. And so Raven, originally drafted by Cincinnati.
Josh changing speeds on that slider, has thrown one as slow as 84, and that one there at 87. He can harness that pitch like Pedro Baez's jump that he's made this year in ability. They both have the same type of arm. Josh looking for a little better location, and then also just that second off-speed pitch to make the hitters respect the other pitch, and that'll enhance the fastball velocity. Pedro's fastball is outstanding, and now he has 2 more pitches. The changeup is something they have to respect, and his slider.
1 ball, 2 strikes. And it's 2-2. Another Dodger-Red connection the casual fan may not know, realize, or remember. Justin Turner was drafted originally by the Reds. Getting the day off today. Into center. A long way back for Peterson. And it's off the base of the wall. Peraza's on his way to third, and he will make it. That's Peraza's 4th triple of the year.
He hits this ball pretty good, coming fastball in, leaves it up and over the middle. Jock Peterson was playing very shallow. The ball's been getting knocked down a little bit, but that one in left center just took a little bit of a ride on the wind.
The Reds have now out-hit the Dodgers 11-10. But the Dodgers lead by 7. No balls and 1 strike to Devin Mesoraco.
First round pick of the Reds about 10 years back. Patrick Kivelin is on deck. There's a strike. And it's 0-2. One gone, bottom of the 8th. Back-to-back sliders.
That slider slipped out the top half and looked like to the crowd that is left as a knockdown pitch. It wasn't that.
A ball and 2 strikes. One out in the bottom of the 8th. One around.
Stay tuned after the game for Access Sportsnet, brought to you by your Southern California Nissan dealers. They will have a lot of highlights to go over. Get out the Access 360 on some of these home runs.
Now Kivelin takes a strike. 97. Rushing the inside corner. Seventh inning in Philadelphia, and the D-backs a 4-1 lead. So 3 triples for the Reds this afternoon. Last time they had 3 triples in a game, 2005. Somehow in this ballpark, which relatively speaking cozy confines, you don't expect triples here.
Maybe because of Billy Hamilton.
Yeah. That gets an asterisk right away.
But you're right. The only thing that looks like as far as triples is that angled wall in center field, maybe. But how many guys hit line drives over center fielders that hit walls strong enough to kick away?
Well, the Dodgers have hit in the clutch today, and the Reds haven't. Now it's 3-2. With the aforementioned Billy Hamilton on deck. That got by in a hurry, and that's going to do it. 2 strikeouts for Raven, and we go to the 9th. Dodgers leading by 7.
Texas player of the game, and it's Cody Bellinger. That blast right there, you think it's a home run? No, the wind knocks it down. It's a double. He has a 2-for-4 day, and the other hit is this home run, his 19th. And Cody can't only do it with the bat, he can do it with the glove. Watch this clean pick at first and the nice throw to cut down the runner there. And let's add to his package, Charlie. He just got a base hit.
So Cody Bellinger is now 3 for 5. A single, a double, and a home run. He's bounced into a double play and flied to left. So once again, Bellinger having just a standout performance. Jock Peterson leading it off. Bellinger 3 for 5. Peterson takes a strike, 0-1. Jock a home run that traveled 426 feet back in the 3rd inning. Ball and a strike to Jock Peterson. Bellinger, not just power, he's lifted his average to 262. Two balls and 1 strike.
If Cody brings the power, you can live with anywhere from 245 up to about 270. If he hits above 270 with that power, he will absolutely increase his power because it's so natural. It'll be incredible the numbers he will put up if he hits above 270.
The thing about Bellinger, above and beyond all that, he runs exceptionally well, has a terrific throwing arm. At first base, he's a natural. Plays left field is very well. He's got he can hit for power. Can he have enough of an average that then you're looking at the 5 superstar?
This is a lot of potential, and it is blossoming right now, and it's just let him ride it out and let him find the different ways to become more and more consistent as he gets the experience.
At the ripe old age of 21. And Peterson takes a walk. Body by Jake Buchanan. Wojciechowski lasted 2 1/3. The Dodgers lathered him for 6 runs and 5 hits. Bryce in 3 1/3, 2 runs and 4 hits. And Buchanan in 1 inning plus has given up a run and 2 hits so far. Grandal 1 for 4, takes a strike. It's 0-1. Dodgers will wrap it up with the Reds tomorrow. First pitch about 10 past 10 in the morning Pacific time. Then the Dodgers fly home. Billy Hamilton has a great first step, but then there's a second, the third, and the fourth.
He really never extends to full stride. He can turn his legs over so quickly that he uses these short scampering kind of steps, and he gets there in a hurry.
Two on, 1 out, and Forsythe is the only Dodger hitter without a base hit today. Fouled out, flied out twice, and bounced to short. Takes a strike, and it's 0-1.
1 strike to Forsythe. Logan at the moment is at 183. And Cozart keeps it in the infield, but Forsythe is more than happy to get his base hit. So now every Dodger batter's got at least one hit today.
Take it any way you can get it. Logan will have a sigh of relief, and dinner will taste a little better tonight.
But it won't be a late night.
Day game tomorrow.
And a flight home immediately after.
Dodgers looking for another sweep, though, tomorrow, and finish this one off.
Puig with 2 home runs. This afternoon, 1 career grand slam. And if memory serves, that was in his first magical week. Dodgers have 5 grand slams this year. Into right. Back at the wall. It'll be tracked down by Kivlin. Tagging and scoring is Bellinger, and the Dodgers in double digits now. It's 10-2. So Puig with the sac fly, his 3rd RBI of the day, now has 37 on the season. So here's Josh Raven, who originally was drafted by the Reds. Now is going to get an at-bat. His first big league at-bat. Now Peraza will throw him out, and that'll end the inning. Dodgers tack on yet another 3 outs away from their 43rd win of the year.
At LA is brought to you by BMW. See a Southern California BMW Center today for exceptional offers, or visit SoCalBMW.com.
Josh Raven on to clean up the small details. We go to the bottom of the 9th. Dodgers 10 runs and 12 base hits. And the Reds have been held to just a couple of runs and 11 base hits. Raven struck out 2, gave up a hit in the 8th. So it's a day that the Dodgers have just enjoyed themselves. They scored a run in the 1st, and again, it's one of those numbers that kind of goes under the radar screen. The Dodgers, when scoring first, are about to be 30-7. You get the early start, And you've got the other team trying to play comeback, and sometimes they do, but scoring first is a much bigger deal than I think a lot of folks give it credit for.
Well, the Dodgers with the second best starting staff in the National League, so the starters make it hold up also.
And Billy Hamilton, first pitch of the ninth, skies to center.
I can tell you it does help loosen up your pitch selection. You get that first run, your team helps you go out there and calm the early nerves of finding your release point and bringing your arsenal around on the mound. It's a lot easier to do when it's 0-0.
Each team scored a run in the first today. The Dodgers would blow it open with a 5-run third that included back-to-back home runs by Bellinger and Peterson. Bellinger 3 hits, 3 RBIs, and 2 runs scored today. Every Dodger hitter has at least 1 base hit. Puig hit 2 home runs. The Dodgers have hit 4 today. And quickly, 0-2 to Zach Cozart.
Not the easiest at bat. Down 10-2. The team is just reeling, and you got to face a guy that can hit almost 100 miles an hour, then drops a slider on you when you're cheating for a fastball.
No balls, 2 strikes. And it's 1-2.
That's the slider right there that Josh is trying to get rid of. He throws a few of them that are very uncompetitive, and that's when the hitters lose respect for the pitch. Got to get them a lot closer.
In the hole, Seager, the backhanded play, the throw to first. Bellinger digs it out. A spectacular play turned in by the C&C boys. Seager and Bellinger, even though the Dodgers are up by 8. Boy, that was a spectacular play.
First of all, Corey does a great job with his first step, but the release, when he goes to his right, he's got so much of his height coming from his legs. They can get tangled, but right there untwists and turns, and we take a look, and he is out. What an unbelievable, powerful arm, not using any of his leg, just a twisting of his upper body to get the ball over there to Cody.
The Reds request a replay.
I was watching Cody pick it so cleanly, I didn't see exactly where the foot was, but it seemed like to me he got it in time. See when it hits the leather. Boy, it's going to be tough. Is it? I think it might hit the fingers of the leather before the foot hits. Could be it stands on the call. Not enough to overturn it. The call on the field is out.
Man, what a play that was.
It was a great play either way.
Another angle.
Wow. The fact that it's a replay and we get to see such great play in the infield.
A perfect song to be playing while this is going on. Tom Petty's "The Waiting is the Hardest Part." It's a 10-2 game, and so it's just a question of how great a play was it. They are still going over it back in New York. And the answer is out.
And I think when we get the review and the label of the call, it'll be stands. Not confirmed.
And certainly not denied. Wow. Joey Votto with 2 out.
6-3 with a couple of stars.
Well, you got the competitive nature of Seager and the competitive nature of Riggleman and the Reds. Say, hey, let's give it a shot. They did. And so Seager with the spectacular play in an 8-run game. 2 gone. Votto, a single, a double, and a triple. Takes outside. Get to Maeda and Bronson Arroyo tomorrow. Then the Dodgers will fly home. 1 ball, 2 strikes. A 1-2 into short right, where Forsythe is there, throws him out, and the Dodgers, for the first time this season, are 17 games over 5.